Hey guys, Kev here, and I have a new knife to show you. So this is not an unboxing because I did open this. And I did an initial unboxing, and then I got hung up on something, which we'll talk about. And so I have handled this a little bit, and but it's still a first impressions for sure. I'll do a rapid review or an overview later on, but this is from Glow Rhino. And if you guys remember, I had a bit of a rant fest last year maybe about this when they came out with the Lightbringer, and somebody sent one in to me to review. It was a viewer. This one was sent by Glow Rhino. Shout out to Glow Rhino. Shout out to Tactical Everyday Dad. He works with them now, and he reached out and asked if I want to check it out. And so I have a contact there, and I've been talking to him, which is awesome. It's always a good way to do it because then I can ask questions, which is exactly what happened in this case. And I cleared some things up. So first, I want to make it clear that this was sent to me to review. I did not pay for this, but that doesn't affect my review in any way, right? And I have that little bit of past history where I kind of went off a little bit on them because... I'll show you. This is the knife. This is the Fermi. It's a G10 handled knife. It has tritium inserts on both sides here and then one on the stud. It comes in D2 steel. Did I already say that? And you can actually, on their website, which I'll link down below, you can choose the color of the stud tritium insert. So this one's green, and obviously this is green. And I'm pretty sure on all of them, the scale inserts are green, but then you can do like orange, maybe red, and then you can do the green. There's a few yellow, there's a few colors, which is pretty cool. And then this little surrounding color matches. They're $99 on their website, which, you know, at first sight I was like, oh, D2 and G10 $99, but you have to remember they have tritium all over this thing, which is pretty damn cool. And then the blade on this one, at least, I think all of them are coated, so you don't have to worry about corrosion or anything. But the thing that sort of got to me on the previous knife, and when I unboxed this, is the card here. So this is the Fermi. It's professionally illuminated with self-powered tritium, named after Enrico Fermi, the architect of the nuclear age. Blade steel is D2. Follow us on Instagram. There's their info. And this is what got me. Proudly built in Detroit with Swiss tritium. So I got hung up on this on the Lightbringer, and I got hung up on it in the unboxing of this, which I didn't post because I went and I talked to Ted, Tactical Everyday Dad, about it, and I got some answers. And what he told me was the knife is built overseas, which is, you know, when you look at the knife and you handle the knife and, you know, you see the materials, you know this is made in China, which is perfectly fine. I have knives made in China. That's not an issue. What bothers me is that it says built in Detroit, right? So it gives it this connotation or whatever that it's made in the United States. But after talking to Ted, he said it's made by Best Tech, okay? But they obviously install the tritium, right? So they're installing this and this and that, and they're doing all of that in Detroit. So that's why they put built in Detroit. Now, I think the verbiage should be a little different. It's a bit of semantics. But I think it should say assembled in Detroit. And then just have OEM Best Tech, because that's who makes this, Best Tech. And then nobody would care, right? And I'm going to go ahead and guess 95% of people don't care anyway. And I'm one of the 5% who's like, oh, they're good, you know? But I want to stress this. I went to the website to do a little research before posting this. And it does say manufactured by Best Tech Knives. And it says that right on their website. So they're not trying to hide anything. And I think they just use... in my opinion, they use the wrong word. It shouldn't say built in. It should just say proudly assembled in Detroit or something like that. And I honestly think the reason they put that is not because they're trying to cover up something or make us think it's made in the United States, because anybody, you know, who's been in the knife world for a second knows there's no way this is made in the United States for $100. And there's no way it's using just D2 steel. It would be CPM D2, if anything. So they're not trying to cover it up. I think they're really just, as it states, I think they're just proud of what they do. And what they do is work with tritium. You know, they work with other companies. If you've seen knives made with tritium inserts, it's probably from Glow Rhino. So I think they're just proud of what they do, and they want to state that on the card. And you know what? I'm fine with it. I just wish it would say proudly assembled, or it could say proudly assembled and then just say OEM, best tech underneath, just so it's very clear to, you know, the small percentage of us that give a shit about that. And that's it, right? So we've talked about that. I just want to knock that out of the way, because that kind of clears up my initial rant about them in the past, and, you know, what going into this I was a little worried about. And now I'm like, okay, they say it's best tech online. They're not hiding anything. They're just proud that they're, you know, doing their work in Detroit, and that's cool, you know? So let's talk about the knife. The Fermi here is pretty cool. It gives me vibes. Again, I want to be clear. I always have to say this. I'm not saying copy. I'm not saying blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying my brain correlates knives with other knives. This gives me some Waypoint vibes from Quiet Carry. It gives me some vibes of the new Urban EDC Minimalist model. And it's basically a very simple handle design and a drop point blade. And that's, you know, what you're going to get. And then you have a similar clip to what you see on like an F5.5, or, you know, it's a very simple deep carry budget clip, but it works and it's great. I have no problem with this clip, except I wish it was reversible. There's a couple things I wish on this knife were a little different. I wish you could reverse the clip, because you're one screw and a filler tab or cutout away from a reversible clip, right? There's no real reason not to. It's a very square design. And then I wish there was a stud on both sides. Now, I think they were trying to keep it under $100, and they just hit $99, and they probably would have had to have gone over if they did the insert on both sides. And I'm guessing that's why it's not that way. Or the other reason I could think of is they need to tighten this down, and they want to be sure it's tight and not able to come loose. So they had to use a Torx over here, obviously, to tighten it. And so you can only do it on one side. And then because of that, now they really have a show side, and that's why they didn't do the reversible clip. So I understand the decisions. I just still, in a perfect world where everything can be done for the price we want it to be done, I would want the filler tab and reversible clip, and I'd love to see a tritium insert on the other side, because, you know, kind of OCD, and I want those things to match, you know what I mean? I want it to be symmetrical or whatever. I like that the logo is right here on the blade, nice and small, no big writing, and then the pivot is clean. That looks absolutely fantastic there. We do have a bunch of gibberish here. Serial number D2212648 or 460-03EH3. You know, that does not need to be on the blade. I really don't like that. It should just say D2, and you could put all that shit in the line on the liner if you want. Just hide it on the liner or the box. Like, that's just that's a lot of numbers that nobody needs to see, but, you know, I get it. Backspacer's cool. I mean, it's very simple yet effective. I mean, I can choke up like this. I get up on this flat in this back grip. Large glove size hand just about fits, but choked up here feels good. It is a flat grind, and I will say it's a bit of a chonker. I mean, if you look at this blade stock, it's on the thicker side. So it slices well, it cuts well. I got to cut a little bit of paper, nothing crazy, but it works. It's just, it's a bit of a thick boy. And maybe that's what they're going for here, you know? I don't know. The action is quite good. The detent is dialed. It swings down. I mean, the more I've used it, the more it's just breaking in. It's very smooth. Drop, shake. It's on bearings for sure. Reverse flick works really well right-handed. Now, I do have one QC type issue. The centering is quite a bit off. I don't know if you can see that well, but there you go. Quite a bit off. I'll try to include, if I can, I'll try to include some B-roll of the tritium in the dark, if I can do that. But overall, I think it's a solid design. I think it's, you know, a simple budget knife. You know, I think in any other world, G10 and D2, we'd be looking at, you know, $50 absolute tops. But they're adding all the tritium, and we all know tritium's expensive. I mean, I have a fidget here, the S Nano slider. And when I bought this, I bought these two little tritium tubes or whatever, and for the plate, and I think it was $15 each, so it was $30 alone just to add those two little pieces of tritium to it. So imagine having these larger ones, one on each side, and then having a tube inside of the actual thumb stud. So I think that's where your price is coming from. It's basically $50 for the knife, and then you're adding another, you know, $49 for tritium or whatever. So it makes sense to me cost-wise. And again, comfortable in hand, good cutter, all that stuff. It's just kind of a basic knife that they've elevated a little bit by adding tritium. So that's kind of my take on it. It's my first impressions. I will give it a bit of a carry and use it and see what I think. I mean, the action it's a fun, snappy knife. It's got a good Friday night gas station grip because you got a little bit of a hump here, so you can get a good, you got a little guard there, feels good. And in the night, you know, you'd know where you are because you got your thumb stud glowing and all that jazz. But yeah, it's cool. So thank you to Glow Rhino. Thank you to Tactical Everyday Dad. Give both of them a follow. This model is available, as I understand, on their website. It was I could add it to cart when I was there, and I think it's pretty cool. So if the model speaks to you and you really like tritium, I think it's an affordable way to get sort of an operator model, you know. So there you go. Love you guys. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.